You're listening to Midnight Static on 103.7 FM. Greetings, night wanderers, as the world wraps itself in silence and even the wind holds its breath. Some stories whisper just loud enough to slip through. You've tuned in to Midnight Static, the only frequency that listens back. I am Brother Dread, and this old broadcast house, she doesn't sleep easy. Now every night, without fail, when the clock strikes 3, the red phone rings. No switchboard, no caller ID, just one voice, always ready to confess. And when it rings, we answer, because some truths can only survive in the dark. You're live on Static Traveller. Who walks the midnight line tonight? Yeah, hi, my name's Caleb, and I think I'm losing time. I came back to the house last Thursday, not for nostalgia, not for closure, just logistics. Dad passed away 2 weeks ago, massive stroke, died in his sleep they said. He was cremated before I got the call. He left me the house, the old one, out in Wiltshire, near the woods, middle of nowhere. No neighbours for half a mile, no cell signal, just silence. The kind that seeps into your bones and makes clocks tick louder. I hadn't been there since I was a kid, 11 years old maybe. It was the last summer I ever spent with him. Then one day, he packed my bags, put me on a train and sent me to live with my aunt in Leeds. Never told me why. We didn't speak again for 15 years. When I stepped into the house last Thursday, I expected dust and grief. I didn't expect familiarity. The air still smelled the same, like damp paper and fireplace ash. The floorboards still creaked in the exact same places. And the silence, it wasn't just still, it was waiting. I slept in my old bedroom. I don't know why. The bed frame was gone, but the walls still had that faded wallpaper with the moons and the stars, peeling now, curling at the edges, but familiar. I sat on the floor, leaning against the wall, just trying to feel something, and that's when I noticed the trapdoor. It wasn't hidden, just old, part of the attic floorboards above my room. The cord dangled like a noose, so I pulled it. Dust fell like ash, the ladder creaked, and the moment I stepped into the attic, the air changed. Cold, still, but alert. Like I'd entered a room that had been breathing quietly for decades, and suddenly it's held its breath. There was nothing up there, not at first, just boxes, old coats, a broken trunk. Then I saw the leather book, half tucked beneath a stack of newspapers. Brown, worn, no title. I opened it. The first page was blank. The second one had my name. Property of Caleb, age 11. But I never kept a diary. Yeah, sure you never kept a diary. Yeah, I mean, what kid doesn't try to keep one? But I would have remembered something like this. The entries were written in thick pencil, some messy, some neat, and they were mine. I know my handwriting, but what disturbed me most wasn't what they said, it was what they didn't. The first few entries felt innocent, dreams I don't remember, talks of shadows on the wall, a whispering voice from the closet I was sure didn't exist, just classic scared kid stuff. But then it got weirder. The tone shifted. The boy in the mirror isn't me. He smiled today. I didn't. I locked the cellar door, but he still got out. Said it was his turn. I laughed when I read it, made a voice memo. Jesus, kid, you had an imagination. But the more I read, the harder it got to breathe, because the dates didn't make sense. Every entry, even the ones clearly written months apart, had the same date, June the 13th. I flipped to the middle of the book, another June the 13th, and near the end, Same. I checked the calendar app on my phone. Thursday, June the 13th. I hadn't realised until I saw the final note on the final page. He always comes back on my birthday. I closed the diary, tossed it on the floor, went back to bed, but I didn't sleep. The attic door creaked closed around 2 a.m. by itself. Or maybe I forgot I closed it, or maybe I wanted to forget. But that was the first night I heard it. That soft breathing. It was coming through the wall, right behind my bed. Breathing had a rhythm, but what you heard was watching. Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. Not alive, not dead, just present. Like something had been waiting a long time for me to come home. I thought I was done with the diary, but the next morning it was open, middle of the attic floor, facing the window. I never put it there. The new entry was dated again, June the 13th, but this one wasn't written in pencil. It was written in something darker, something oily, not quite ink, not quite anything. It said, "He's not watching anymore, he's waiting, and I'm the only one who remembers why." I thought it was a prank or sleepwalking, but I checked the attic's dust, only one set of footprints, mine. I picked up the diary, held it in my hands, and something happened. My vision blurred, just for a second, but when it cleared, I was in the living room, and the diary was in my lap, open to a page I hadn't seen yet. It described the room in exact detail, down to the creaky armchair, the light bulb that flickered in the corner. The entry ended with a single line, "You're sitting here now." And I was. Sometimes the words don't describe the past, they describe what we are becoming. Exactly. From that moment, it was like the house was syncing with the pages. I'd walk into the kitchen, and the diary would already be open on the counter, describing a broken plate I hadn't dropped yet. Then I'd knock it over by accident. I went to the cellar. The door was jammed. I came back upstairs. The next entry said, "He didn't want you to open it yet." I started testing it. I tried writing a note of my own in the diary, a question. "Who are you?" The next morning, it had an answer, in smaller handwriting beneath mine. "I'm you, the version you left behind." I tried to sleep that night. I put the diary in the trunk and locked it. I turned off every light in the house, closed every curtain. But the hallway mirror, it didn't reflect darkness. It reflected me, standing still. Only, my reflection wasn't in bed. It was standing in the hallway, just staring. Wide-eyed, pale, smiling. I ran. I threw a blanket over the mirror, smashed it with a chair. No reflection, no sound, just cold, settling in my chest. The next diary entry, already waiting on the kitchen table. "Why do you always break the mirror? It's the only place I still look like you." I started screaming, but the house didn't echo. It absorbed the sound like it had been starved for it. The house doesn't just remember, it records, and maybe it doesn't belong to you, or maybe it never did. That's when I realised something. I never looked at the first page again, the one that had said, "Property of Caleb, age 11. I flipped back to it that night, only now it read, "Property of Caleb, age 33, my current age." The next morning, I woke up on the attic floor, no memory of going up there, no shoes, no light, just a diary, open to the page titled, "The Cellar." I hadn't opened it, I hadn't written it, but it detailed what I would do next, step by step, including how I'd go downstairs, find the hidden key behind the brick in the fireplace, and unlock the cellar. I followed the steps. They were right. all of them. And when I finally stood at the cellar door, key in my hand, I didn't want to open it, but I wasn't in control anymore. There are moments in life when you know you've passed a threshold, not a door, not a border, but a point in your own mind, a realization you can't unrealize. That was me, standing at the top of the cellar stairs, diary in hand, holding a flashlight that was already flickering. And I swear to you, before I took the first step down, I saw a shadow moving upwards. Not all stairs take you down, some take you inwards, and some never let you come back the same way. The air was thick, not musty, heavy, like breathing inside a mouth that wasn't yours. The flashlight flickered, but I could see just enough. Stone walls, wooden beams, a single rusted chain hanging from the ceiling, and something carved into the concrete wall. I walked up to it slowly. There was no dust, no cobwebs, no sense that this place had been abandoned. The carving was barely visible, but I could make it out. June the 13th. Below it, scratched in desperate, uneven lines, "Do not let him remember." That's when the light died, and that's when I remembered the dream. No, not a dream, a memory. I was 11, standing in this cellar, holding something in my hand, a rock, heavy, stained. At my feet, a small mirror. It was broken in half, and a voice behind me. "He's not me anymore." Then a scream. Not mine, not Dad's, someone else's. I remember dropping the rock, and I forgot, or I forced myself to. I don't know how long I sat down there. When I came back upstairs, the diary was open on the kitchen floor. Not a single page was blank anymore, every one of them filled. Some were in my handwriting, some weren't, but every entry said June the 13th at the top. Then, near the back, the newest one. "He knows now. That's all it takes. Knowledge lets the door open." I looked into the hallway mirror again, and this time there was no reflection at all. Just a boy, standing where I should be, 11 years old, in my clothes, but grinning, smiling with teeth I don't remember having. He said, "It's your turn to forget now. Oh, not all curses wear faces, some wear memories." I tried to leave the house, grabbed my keys, opened the door, but the world outside was wrong, tilted, off colour, like an oil painting underwater. I shut it again, went back to the living room. Diary was gone. Instead, on the coffee table, a single photo of me, but not me. It's that boy again, sitting in the armchair, holding the diary, and under the photo, a handwritten note. "Property of Caleb, age 11, welcome back." And the weirdest part, Brother Dread, I feel good. I feel clear, like all the noise is gone. I think I was wrong before. I wasn't trying to forget, I was trying to remember, because now that I know who I really am, it's your turn. "And what is it that you remember now, Caleb?" "I remember the last time I made this call. You asked the same question. You even wore the same coat, with the frayed label, and your voice, you sounded just like now. But that time, I was in the mirror, watching you from the other side of the glass. And tonight, you're watching me from in here. Say hello to the boy." That was Caleb, or something were in his voice, and if you listen closely, you may have heard the same thing I did, not in the words, but in the space between them. Something has returned, not just to that house, but maybe to this one. I see now why the broadcast never plays during the day, why the static always clears at 3 AM, and why the mirror in Studio B started fogging up. even when no one breathes near it. You've been listening to Midnight Static, and if you're still awake, maybe check your reflection, not just for who's there, but for who's missing. We'll answer the red line again tomorrow at 3 AM, just like always, and maybe then you'll have a story that's ready to be told, or one that's trying to tell itself. Until next time, keep your diary closed, keep your memories buried, and if you hear someone calling your name from the mirror, don't answer. You're listening to The Midnight Static on 103.7 FM. Like, follow, and comment below.